The coolest thing about Boomerang and the most political thing about Boomerang is that it's a movie with all black cast and it has nothing to do with being black or nothing.
The movie Boomerang presented a world so perfect, so stylish, and so successful that some people refused to believe it could be real. When it came out in 1992, one famous review even called it a science fiction film. But the truth is far more shocking. The polished world on screen was a mask, hiding a chaotic storm of secrets, personal battles, and million-dollar gambles that raged behind the scenes. Eddie Murphy's million-dollar bet.
Anyway, what are you doing with all your money? Are you investing it?
No, I just bought this suit.
The story of Boomerang begins and ends with one man, Eddie Murphy. He was the king of comedy, a superstar who could make any movie he wanted. But he was tired of being the fast-talking, funny guy. He wanted to show the world a different side of himself, and Boomerang was his big chance to do it. But what no one knew was that the man who built this perfect world would also be the one who almost tore it all down. By the early 1990s, Eddie Murphy was a global icon, known for characters like Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop. These roles made him a fortune, but they also put him in a box. He wanted to break free. He dreamed of playing a cool, smooth romantic lead, a character closer to who he really was as a person. So he came up with an idea for a new kind of movie. It would be a romantic comedy about a ladies' man who finally meets his match. This idea, born in Eddie's mind, was the seed that would grow into Boomerang. To bring his vision to life, he needed the right director. He found him in a young filmmaker named Reginald Hudlin. Eddie had seen Hudlin's first movie, a fun teen comedy called House Party, and was a huge fan. He called Reginald and his brother Warrington to his giant mansion in New Jersey to talk about the project. Eddie wanted to make a sophisticated movie that would be a showcase for black talent, a story about successful black people living glamorous lives in New York City. He wanted to create a world that audiences had never seen before, and he gave Hudlin the power to help him build it. With a budget of over $40 million, Boomerang became one of the most expensive movies ever made by a black director at the time. It was a massive project, and the pressure was immense. But the biggest problems on set didn't come from the studio. They came from the star himself. The film's original budget was around $33 million, but it quickly ballooned to over $41 million. The movie's producer, Brian Grazer, later said that a huge chunk of that extra cost, almost half of a $1.5 million overage, was because of one thing, Eddie Murphy's chronic lateness. He moved on his own timetable, often showing up late and leaving early. This pattern caused massive delays. The production fell behind by nearly 100 hours, which cost the studio an estimated $1 million. The chaos didn't stop there. Eddie's cousin, Ray Murphy Jr., who worked on the film, said the crew was not used to such a big budget. He remembered seeing 11 different limousines show up to pick up 11 different people from the same hotel to take them to the same place. Eddie's demands could bring the entire production to a halt. One day, he refused to come on set until every single crew member was given an identification card. Later, the production planned to film some extra scenes in Atlanta. The crew was ready, the location was booked, but Eddie never showed up. That one decision cost the studio $300,000. The shoot had to be moved to Washington, D.C., where Eddie was already filming another movie. Even then, during the 2 days of reshoots, he continued to arrive late. He was the king of the set, and his power was absolute. He had the power to create Boomerang, but he also had the power to cause it to spiral out of control. Eddie's World in 1992.
Like we had actually had a meeting and people had drawn stuff up and had stuff. You see, Eddie Murphy chocolate would be very popular in this region.
While his professional life was a whirlwind of creativity and chaos, Eddie's personal life was entering a new chapter. For years, he had been in a serious relationship with a model named Nicole Mitchell. They first met at an awards show in 1988 and had been living together ever since. As Boomerang was being filmed and prepared for its big premiere, Eddie and Nicole were building a family. They walked the red carpet together at the movie's premiere in June 1992, looking like the perfect couple. Just a few months later, in November 1992, they welcomed their son, Miles Mitchell Murphy. Eddie was now a father to a growing family. He already had an older son, Eric, and an older daughter, Bria, as well as another son named Christian from previous relationships. The following year, in March 1993, Eddie and Nicole got married in a grand ceremony at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. At the very moment his on-screen persona was learning about love and commitment, the real Eddie Murphy was building a life and a family of his own. Today, Eddie Murphy is more than just a star. He is a Hollywood legend. He and Nicole eventually divorced in 2006 after 5 children together, and he now has 10 children in total. His career is still on fire. He has a slate of huge projects in the works that will keep him busy for years. He has confirmed that a 5th Beverly Hills Cop movie is in development. He is returning to voice his beloved character, Donkey in Shrek 5, and is even getting his own Donkey spin-off movie. He is also set to play the music icon George Clinton in a new biopic and will star in a reboot of The Pink Panther. And for fans who want to know the real story of his incredible life, Netflix is preparing an intimate documentary called Eddie, set to be released in 2025, that will explore his nearly 50-year career. The king of comedy is still on his throne. The women who fought back.
He's gentle. He's got this incredibly gentle side because Michael loves me more than anything in the world.
While Eddie Murphy was the king of Boomerang, the heart of the film belonged to its powerful women. On screen, they were confident, beautiful, and brilliant. But off-screen, each of them was fighting a secret battle. They fought against the studio, against public opinion, and against their own personal pain. The role of Jacqueline Breuer, the powerful executive who becomes Marcus Graham's boss, and his match, was the key to the whole movie. Director Reginald Hudlin and Eddie Murphy knew who they wanted for the part, an actress named Robin Givens. But the movie studio, Paramount Pictures, was terrified of casting her. Why? Because just a few years earlier, Robin Givens had been through a very public and painful divorce from boxer Mike Tyson. The media had been cruel to her. She was called a gold digger, and some magazines even labeled her the most hated woman in America. The studio was worried that the public's dislike for her would hurt the movie. But Hudlin and Murphy refused to back down. They knew she was perfect for the role. Hudlin was so determined that he called another director, Bill Duke, who had just worked with Robin on a different film. Duke told him that Robin was a true professional and incredible in her role. With Eddie's full support, they won the fight, and Robin was cast as Jacqueline. Her performance was a revelation. She played Jacqueline as a strong, independent woman who was in complete control, a female version of Eddie's character. It was a role that mirrored her own life, the story of a powerful woman who was judged by the public for her relationships. After Boomerang, Robin's career continued to thrive. She appeared in movies and popular TV shows like The Game and House of Pain. More recently, she was seen in the show Batwoman. But she has also found a new calling. She has become a successful director for networks like BET Plus and Lifetime. And in a powerful turn, the woman who was once shamed for speaking out about abuse is now a spokesperson for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, using her painful past to empower and support others. Halle Berry played Angela, the sweet, optimistic artist who eventually wins Marcus's heart. On screen, she was the girl next door, a beacon of light and kindness. But the real life of the young actress was filled with unimaginable pain and struggle. Halle grew up in a difficult home. Her father was abusive to her mother, and she witnessed this violence from a very young age. She left home to chase her acting dreams in New York City, but the city was not kind to her at first. She ran out of money, and for a short time, she was homeless, forced to live in a shelter. During this difficult period, she was also diagnosed with type 1 diabetes after she collapsed and fell into a coma while working on a TV show. Her struggles didn't end there. Before she became famous, she was in an abusive relationship with another celebrity. The abuse was so severe that it left her with permanent hearing loss in one of her ears. So when audiences saw her as the gentle Angela in Boomerang, they had no idea about the incredible strength and resilience of the woman playing her. Around the time Boomerang was made, her personal life was still a roller coaster. She had been dating R&B singer Christopher Williams, but their relationship was ending as their careers took off in different directions. Then, in 1992, the same year the movie came out, she met a handsome baseball star named David Justice at a celebrity game. They fell in love quickly and got married on New Year's Day in 1993. But that marriage would also end in a painful and public divorce a few years later. Today, Halle Berry is not just a star, she is an icon. She became the first and only African-American woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress. She is a director and a producer, and she has turned her focus to helping other women. She recently launched a new company called Respin Health, a platform dedicated to supporting women through menopause and breaking the stigma around women's health. The woman who survived so much in secret is now a powerful voice for others, shining a light on the issues that matter most to her. The Diva's demands.
Unbelievable.
This is the essence.
Boomerang was filled with legends, but two of them, Eartha Kitt and Grace Jones, brought a special kind of fire to the set. Their incredible talent came with strong personalities, and they were not afraid to fight for what they believed in. Eartha Kitt, the iconic singer and actress, was cast as Lady Eloise, the powerful and seductive head of the cosmetics company. But she almost didn't take the part. In fact, she turned down the role 3 times. The reason was a single scene in the script. In the scene, her character was supposed to be in bed with Eddie Murphy's character and remove her false teeth for a laugh. Eartha was deeply offended. She felt the joke was an insult to older women. She believed that just because a woman was over 60, it didn't mean she was falling apart. She saw it as her responsibility to represent women her age with dignity and grace. She refused to do the film unless the scene was changed. The filmmakers listened, the offensive joke was removed, and a legendary performance was saved. Then there was Grace Jones. Her role as the wild and unpredictable model Strange was written specifically for her. She was a force of nature on set, and no one knew what she would do next. Many of her most memorable moments were completely improvised. Director Reginald Hudlin remembers her bedroom scene with Eddie Murphy, where she famously screams about her cat, was made up on the spot. She was so outrageously funny that her co-stars could barely keep a straight face. Hudlin said that during her scenes, he would look over at Halle Berry, and she would have tears streaming down her face because she was trying so hard not to laugh out loud. Grace Jones remains a global icon today. She is a singer, a model, and an actress who continues to defy expectations. At an age when many performers retire, she is still taking the stage and captivating audiences around the world. In 2025, she is scheduled to perform at major events like the Hollywood Bowl's prestigious Blue Note Jazz Festival, proving that her unique and powerful energy is timeless. A new generation takes over.
You can wait 8 or 9 years, and you would never have no woman that fine. You wild boy.
When people think of Boomerang, they think of Eddie Murphy. But the movie was secretly something else. It was a crystal ball showing the world the future of black comedy. It brought together 3 young comedians who were on the verge of becoming superstars. For Martin Lawrence, David Alan Grier, and Chris Rock, Boomerang wasn't just another role. It was the moment right before the explosion. In the summer of 1992, Martin Lawrence was a talented comedian on the rise. He was known for hosting the groundbreaking HBO show Def Comedy Jam, which gave a platform to a new generation of black comics. In Boomerang, he played Tyler, Marcus's loud and hilarious best friend. He stole every scene he was in. The movie was released on July 1st, 1992. Just 1 month later, in August 1992, his own TV show, Martin, premiered on the Fox network. The show was an instant hit and launched him into a new level of superstardom. Boomerang captured him at the perfect moment, the final second of calm before the storm. It was the last time audiences would see him as a supporting actor before he became a leading man and a household name. Today, Martin Lawrence is a comedy legend. He has starred in blockbuster movies like Bad Boys and Big Mama's House, and he is still making people laugh. In 2025, he is back on the road with a new stand-up tour called Y'all Still Know What It Is, selling out huge arenas across the country. While Martin was about to launch his own show, David Alan Grier was already a star on one of the hottest shows on television. In 1992, the sketch comedy show In Living Color was a cultural phenomenon. David was one of its most brilliant stars, a master of characters. He could play anyone, from the over-the-top flamboyant film critic Antoine Merriweather to the old gravelly-voiced blues singer Calhoun Tubbs. But in Boomerang, he showed a completely different side of his talent. He played Gerard, Marcus's other best friend. Gerard was the opposite of his Wild and Living Color characters. He was shy, polite, and a true gentleman. The role proved that David was more than just a sketch comedian. He was a serious, classically trained actor who had graduated from the Yale School of Drama. Boomerang allowed him to showcase his incredible range. His career has continued to flourish for decades. He has appeared in countless movies and TV shows and has returned to his roots on the Broadway stage. He was recently honored for his incredible body of work, a career that has now spanned over 40 years. The third member of this future Comedy Hall of Fame was the youngest of the group. At just 27 years old, Chris Rock was known as a cast member on Saturday Night Live. He was part of a new, rebellious group of young comedians on the show that included Adam Sandler and Chris Farley, who were known as the Bad Boys of SNL. His role as Boney T, the hilarious mailroom worker who admired Marcus, was one of his first big movie parts. When audiences saw him in Boomerang, he was still years away from becoming the stand-up icon the world knows today. His most famous HBO special, Bring the Pain, which would make him one of the most celebrated comedians alive, was still 4 years in the future. Boomerang caught him at the very beginning of his journey, a young talent with a world of potential. Today, Chris Rock is widely considered one of the greatest comedians of all time. His recent Netflix special, Selective Outrage, was a massive success, earning him nominations for an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Golden Globe Award. Boomerang was a snapshot of a moment when 3 future kings of comedy shared the screen, just before they went on to build their own empires. What most fans never figured out about Boomerang was that its true story was never about the romance on screen. The real story was the battle that happened off-screen. The sleek, confident world that looked so effortless was a hard-won victory. It was a victory over critics who called their world a fantasy, a victory over studio politics that tried to control their vision, and a victory over the personal demons that haunted its stars. It was even a victory over the chaotic behavior of its own creator. The true legacy of Boomerang is the strength and resilience of every person who fought to bring that beautiful world to life, proving that it was not science fiction, but a reality worth fighting for.